Being an entrepreneur mom can seem glamorous and freeing, but in reality, it has its own set of challenges. From balancing business and parental responsibilities to struggling with guilt and burnout. We're going to discuss in this video the many disadvantages that can come along with being the boss mom that you are. And disclaimer, I am all about positivity, but one thing that I'm not going to do is sugarcoat anything. I'm going to always keep it real. And just as there are the glamorous side of being an entrepreneur mom and being your highest self, there are shortcomings. There are disadvantages, and there are things that you're going to have to work through and overcome. So this video is going to be all about those things. We're still keeping it positive, but we got to keep it real. So let's go ahead and get into the first thing. One of the disadvantages to being an entrepreneur mom is going to be time. Time is not your friend as an entrepreneur mom. You are not going to have enough time in the day to do anything probably that you need to do. So you're going to have to learn time management. You're going to have to learn to schedule and plan to do things on different days. You do have to account for surprises or emergencies or your toddler wanting you because they're a toddler and they just want their mommy. My daughter does it to me all the time. Even recording this video, she cried because I had to come upstairs and record. You're going to have to be tough. But time is not going to be your best friend. So you're going to have to learn time management. One of the things that I do, or the main thing that I do, is that I put everything on my calendar. I think about what I want to do the night before that next day. And I think about if there's anything that I haven't completed today that I can maybe fit in tomorrow, or if I need to schedule to finish that on a different day. I just use the calendar on my phone because I'm always using my phone. And scheduling things out, setting kind of how long you want each task to take. That way you can predict how many things you can do. If you need to add in any activities such as emergencies or you have things that come up in your day. And I can tell you this firsthand from being a full-time entrepreneur mom, something that I really pray for. It's not for the weak. Sometimes I don't get things done as much as I want to get done in that day. And sometimes I have to learn how to do things with having my daughter involved that I can do. It's about juggling. It's about being flexible. It's about compromise. One of the main things that I had to learn how to do is to not get upset that I can't do exactly what I plan to do, but think to myself, what can I do that I didn't plan to do that I can get done in this moment? Because my daughter is going to be by my side. She wants to spend this time with me. Okay, if this isn't my focused time to be with her, and this isn't the time that I set aside to be with her, and I set aside to do business things, but in this moment she needs me, what can I do with her by my side? And in those times, I have to pivot. I have to readjust and be flexible and switch up my schedule. Something that I might not have planned to do until tomorrow, I do it today because it's something that I can do with her being with me, such as taking my pictures to post on my listings that I do for reselling. I can do that with her in the room. I can do that with her sitting on my lap. I can actually ask her to hold the phone and take the picture. There are things that I can do with her and certain things like recording this video that I can't. Knowing how to maneuver and pivot even with your time management and your scheduling is going to be an advantage, but time is the disadvantage if you do not know how to manage it. The next disadvantage in being an entrepreneur mom is going to be financial instability. If you're starting a business, there is some type of risk involved depending on, how big your business is or how small your business is determines the level of risk. But there's always some risk involved, which can lead to instability in your finances. And that does range if you're going to be a full-time entrepreneur, or if you're starting as an entrepreneur as a side hustle or a second income or second business, but you're already working or have a full-time business. Before I went into being an entrepreneur mom full-time, I did have a regular 9 to 5 that I was working in the corporate world, and I worked so much with that in order for me to start the businesses that I have now, I did have to cut back some of my hours because all of my time was going to my 9 to 5 job, and I didn't like that. And in order for me to invest in myself, I had to stop investing in them, and that did affect my income. That was a risk that I was willing to take because I needed to invest in my business, invest in my goals, invest in my dreams. Depending on how your life is set up, you have to determine if that's something that you're willing to risk, or if that's something that you're even able to do. I did have to rearrange my finances. I did have support in other areas that kind of helped me get through it, but it is a financial risk to take on as an entrepreneur, and it can bring instability in your life. And depending on how you deal with stress and anxiety, it can bring up those feelings. You want to make sure that you're managing those. And if you're not sure on how to do that, look up some videos here on YouTube, or check out some of my other videos where I talk about self-care and self-love and self-worth tips that can still help you with managing your anxiety and stress. The next disadvantage to being an entrepreneur mom, and this to me is the big one, okay? Because it's lonely at the top. Like that's not just a saying. Like, that is your life. When you are focused on your purpose, on your dreams, on your goals, you're not going out. You're not hanging out. You're not just partying. You are focused. You have tunnel vision. You are dedicated. When you are truly dedicated, you are dedicated. And it's going to get lonely because you're going to have nights where your friends are going out. They want to do this. They want to do it. But you know that you need to work on your business, because if you're working another job, this might be the only time that you have to do what you need to do, or this might be the time you were able to get a babysitter. It's going to get lonely. It can become stressful, and you have to think about those things as you're wanting to be an entrepreneur mom. The next disadvantage to being an entrepreneur mom is going to be less free time, which kind of piggybacks on the last one of isolation and being lonely. Your free time is limited when you are an entrepreneur mom, because you're a mom and you are a business owner. And if you're both on top of having a 9 to 5, like, your time is limited. It can impede on your hobbies, and it can impede on your self-care activities. And most of all, it can impede on the quality time that you spend with your family. You do have to take these things into consideration if you are wanting to be an entrepreneur mom, because you're going to have thick skin. You're going to have to be like, I'm sorry and I know, but I got to do this. And that sometimes I have to tell my baby girl, I be like, look, baby, I have time that I'm going to spend with you, but right now, mommy needs to work. And then she gives me those sweet little eyes. And she starts, hoo, 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 hoo. And I'm like, I'm not gonna break. No. And sometimes I do break. But sometimes when I know it's really, really important, I'm like, no, I have to do this. And if she starts crying, or if she just is, not having it, I have to be strong and do what I have to do. That takes a level of sacrifice that you have to be okay with. And I talk about this quote all the time that Tony Robbins said that there is no work-life balance. There's work-life integration. As I mentioned before, sometimes I have to pivot on what I do in order to incorporate her into things that I need to do for my business. And sometimes there are going to be things that I can't incorporate her on, and I have to be aware of that. I have to manage those situations, and I have to stay strong because it's hard. It's hard sometimes. And these are things that you need to be aware of as you're wanting to be an entrepreneur, because they're real. People talk about the glam and the glitz and the free time. They talk about, oh, I own my time. You don't own your time. Not starting off, you do not own your time. Your business owns your time. Your kids own your time. Your spouse owns your time. The universe owns your time, but you don't own your time yet starting off until you get to a point where you have processes and set where you're just getting that income. But even then, you don't become comfortable. You still have to work on being better. You still have to work on taking your business to the next level. So it's not a just ending process where you just get to a point and you just have all this free time. You still have to set some amount of time out to do the things that you need to do for your business. The next disadvantage that you can encounter being an entrepreneur mom is childcare. And we talk a lot about children in this video because they're what make us a mom. And you have to make sure that you have time set aside to yourself to take care of the business you need to take care of. And that could be a scheduling conflict if you have a spouse, or if you have a partner where your schedules conflict and you need to take time to do this and they have to do that, or you aren't able to schedule out childcare in the times that you need, that you have available. So it can get messy. It can get challenging. It can be a disadvantage. It can be stressful. You have to learn how to work around it. You have to maybe adjust your schedule. See if you can adjust your schedule at your primary job, or see if you can work around things, or you might have some late nights or some early mornings if you have to do things before your children wake up or after they go to bed. And these challenges are things that you want to think of, and it can be a disadvantage to being an entrepreneur as a mom if you don't have the support in place that you need. The next disadvantage to being an entrepreneur mom is going to be experiencing burnout. You are going. You just like on a hamster wheel, it doesn't stop. You're going. You're going. And eventually your legs are going to get tired. Your mind is going to get tired. You are going to be tired. The combination of being an entrepreneur, of being a mom, of being a spouse, of being a friend is going to be overwhelming. And you're going to have to learn how to manage your time. Know when you can take the time off to have those self-care activities, to spend time with your family, with your friends, because you are going to need to decompress. Being an entrepreneur mom is overwhelming. It is. And sometimes you have to have grace with yourself to say, you know what, today I'm not feeling it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing nothing. Or if you want to spend an hour on TikTok watching funny videos, be okay with that. And these are things that I had to learn as well, because the negative self-talk that we say to ourselves is more damaging than probably what anyone else says to us. And I had to learn that whatever time I needed and however I spent the time that I needed to myself to get over my burnout, to enjoy my moments, is okay. Being aware of when you're tired, of not pushing yourself too far, don't get to the point of excessive burnout, is going to be an advantage, but burnout is one of the disadvantages of being an entrepreneur mom, because you are constantly going. You might be a full-time 9-to-5er, then you're an entrepreneur, and you're a mom, you're a spouse. You have all these things and all these pressures on you, and you have to learn how to manage them. And don't try to do everything at once. Be aware that it's going to take time, and take it one day at a time and one step at a time. If you found that any of these tips definitely resonated with you and help you become clear on what you need to do as an entrepreneur mom, and really spoke to you on what the disadvantages of being an entrepreneur mom are, then definitely go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as you will be notified when more videos on being an entrepreneur mom and becoming your highest self are live. If you're looking to change your life today, definitely go ahead, check the link in the description. I do have a free ebook that you can download where it talks about small habits that you can do today to change your life, to become your highest self, to become your best self. And if you want to learn more about self-love, self-worth, and self-care, becoming your highest self, then definitely check out the videos on the screen.